What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about Rick Mercer talking to Americans. Part 2. You know, I thought I knew what Americans were capable of saying in complete ignorance, but I didn't until I started watching this series. So Rick Mercer is going around talking to Americans and basically proving how we know nothing about Canada. Well, not just nothing. Nothing would be kind of okay, actually. Instead, he gets Americans to go along with the most ridiculous statements that he can think of about Canada. At the end of part 1, he had one of the Americans agreeing that we should invade Saskatchewan. So I find this both embarrassing and entertaining, strangely. So it's the best of both worlds. So with that being said, let's take a look. Let's continue watching Rick Mercer talking to Americans.
Congratulations, Canada, for getting a McDonald's.
Congratulations.
Of course. Of course that's the first one. Why wouldn't it be? So what? He told the Americans Canada just got its first McDonald's. I've never seen Americans more proud. Never seen them more proud. Congrats. Only 10,000 more to go to match us.
Congratulations, Canada. 800 miles of paved road.
How about ground troops lining up and entering Shield?
800 miles of paved road? Okay, you know, did he think Canada, didn't have paved road? Did it just invent it? Just Canada, just now, just finally inventing McDonald's and roads. Very happy for you, Canada. It's funny because these Americans, don't question at all what Rick Mercer is telling them. And they are more than happy to say it right to the camera. Congrats for what? For anything. So on multiple levels, this is disturbing, but funny.
Congratulations, Canada. 800 miles of paved road.
How about ground troops lining up and entering Shield du Sep? How do you feel about that?
Gotta do what you gotta do. If we're gonna get in it, might as well get in all the way.
And how long do you think Shield du Sep could withstand the pounding?
That should be a tattoo. This man must study the teachings of Buddha or Gandhi or something with this wisdom. If you're gonna get in, you might as well get in all the way.
Gotta do what you gotta do. If we're gonna get in it, might as well get in all the way.
And how long do you think Shield du Sep could withstand the pounding?
Not much longer.
Oh my God. That's the other thing. Is the Americans are so willing, the Americans, this video, Rick Mercer talking to Americans makes me feel so ashamed for fellow Americans. I start talking like I'm not one of them. It's these Americans will just go along with anything. It's no. Maybe I'm guilty of this at some point in my life as well. Maybe it's just in our culture for some reason. But yeah, also the Americans are willing to give their opinion on stuff that they don't know anything about. Rick is telling them about a military conflict that doesn't exist in Canada. And many of the people, the Americans he interviews are we gotta do it. Hey, if we're doing it, that means it's right. What? This is, okay, Columbia University, New York.
Just read it to yourself, and then if you want to. Yeah.
To the Right Honorable Paul Martin Jr., Prime Minister in Waiting.
I'm not sure how to say that.
How do you say that?
Tet du Maire.
Du Maire.
Tet du Maire.
Tet du Maire. Tet du Maire.
Excellent. Tet du Maire.
Tet du Maire. Is this a French thing? It sounds like they're speaking French or something. This is some kind of Canadian joke or reference that I don't understand. So maybe I'd be the idiot holding the clipboard, being but why would you just read it out loud? Just the fact that Rick can hand Americans a clipboard and be read this to the camera. And they're okay.
Hello, Canada. Given that 2001 has been declared the year of the senior citizen, we demand that the government of Canada discourage the Canadian tradition of placing senior citizens on northern ice floes and leaving them to perish.
Yeah, I'll sign that.
So what are you studying again?
History.
Right, very good.
No, this is 1,000 times worse than I thought. He's giving them a fake petition. He's giving them a fake petition that says, like, it's senior citizens year, and asking them to sign a petition fighting for the abolishment of a Canadian rule where senior citizens are put out on an iceberg and floated out to sea. And the Americans are signing it and yeah, that sounds bad. I don't like that.
Definitely believe that senior citizens shouldn't be placed on ice floes.
And you're a prof here?
Yeah.
How many?
Yeah, I love how Rick makes sure to, like, see what their occupation is. Like, one of them is literally studying history, doesn't know anything about Canada. He's asking him about his job.
Senior citizens shouldn't be placed on ice floes.
And you're a prof here?
Yeah.
How many years?
9.
He's a professor. Oh gosh.
You like it?
I mean, this just goes to show you, like, no matter what you do or what your occupation is or what your status is, critical thinking or common sense is not all that common somehow.
Yeah, it's good.
Good school?
Yeah.
We're doing a story on the Russian invasion of Chechnya and Saskatchewan, and Russians keep invading that area, and we're wondering whether peacekeepers should be sent into Saskatchewan to protect the civilians.
I think so, definitely. I think peacekeeping is #1 priority.
Yeah, you know, this one is like, I'm trying to decide how bad this is. So Americans don't ever hear about Canadian news. I have to really go out of my way if I want to learn about Canadian news. Like, I got to go to a Canadian news website. It's never talked about here on our news or anything. So I don't necessarily blame this American for not knowing what Rick is saying is completely made up. But at the same time, like, what he's saying is, like, Russia is invading part of Canada. If you know where Saskatchewan is, which I don't think any of these Americans do, you'd know how preposterous this is, though. So, I don't know. I was trying to think, like, is this acceptable on any level? No, I don't think it is, even if you don't follow Canadian news.
For international relations.
Do you feel bad for the people in Chechnya and Saskatchewan?
Yes.
And you're studying Russian?
I'm studying Russian.
Yeah, you know what? Oh, he's studying Russian. That makes it worse. Yeah, if he's studying Russian, and Rick just told him Russia was invading Canada, and he was just like, yeah, that sounds bad. Stop that, Russia. That's bad. Like, oh my gosh.
Do you find that there's not enough coverage on the news about the Russian invasion into Saskatchewan?
Well, I haven't actually heard about the Saskatchewan invasion. I've only heard about Chechnya, actually. So there's not enough coverage about Saskatchewan.
We demand that the government...
Right, and just the idea that these Americans don't think that this would be bigger news if this were happening? Oh, wait. I didn't realize what was happening. He's getting an American to say something on a loudspeaker, of course.
Not enough coverage about Saskatchewan.
We demand that the government of Canada discourage the Canadian tradition of placing senior citizens on northern ice floes, leaving them to perish.
This one is probably the worst so far. Worse than the McDonald's. Worse than congratulating Canada for its McDonald's and roads, or the invasion of Saskatchewan. Poor Saskatchewan. This one might be the worst. The idea that these Americans think there's nothing strange about hearing Canadians put senior citizens on ice and push them out to sea to freeze to death. This American is not smiling or laughing like, oh, I know this is so silly. They're taking it seriously, which is concerning to me. This one is very concerning to me. I live amongst these people. These people also get to vote and decide things that affect my life. This is concerning. Okay. We're going. Okay, that was New York. Now we're headed to Arkansas. Okay.
We're doing a story on your state capitol building here, and it's a downscale replica of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. And our Capitol building in Canada is actually a downscale model of your Capitol building, except it's made out of ice. It's an igloo, you see.
Except it's made of ice. See, at first I was like, okay, this is going to fool her. Like, Canada's capital is a downscaled version of a downscaled version of our capital. But I was like, some Americans might believe that. He pushes it. He's like, and, you know what, I can get away with this. These Americans will believe anything. And it's an igloo. It is made of ice. There's no way this lady is going to buy this, right?
And we're worried about global warming and the fact that it might melt, so we're putting a dome over it. But in order to pay for it, we have to attract tourists. Would you be interested in visiting the Canada's national igloo?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Sure.
Right.
It's like, I don't know if she isn't thinking about what he said or just wasn't paying attention at all. Or just the blank stare like, sure, I'll go to your igloo. Why not?
Congratulations, Canada, on preserving your igloo.
Congratulations, Canada, on preserving your national igloo.
Yes, indeed.
Well, congratulations, Canada.
You know what? The other side of this is these Americans are like kind of wholesome at the same time. This one is the Americans don't have a thought going on in their head for some reason, or they're just so starstruck by Rick Mercer and his camera that they're just not thinking, which is possible. But you gotta admit, these Americans here at least mean well. They're being wholesome. They're like, congratulations, Canada, on your igloo. That's great. It's like, you know, at least they're being nice about it.
Canada, on preserving your national igloo.
Yes, indeed.
Well, congratulations, Canada, on becoming part of North America.
Thank you very much. As of the year 2000, we'll be part.
Nah, that's not okay. That's what does that mean for America? What is that? That's like a failure at our just systemic educational level. People get into a full-grown adult Americans don't know Canada is in North America. I don't know. What can you say?
Part of North America. Do you think that's a good idea?
Oh, okay. What was the question here?
Okay. Thank you very much. As of the year 2000, we'll be part of North America. Do you think that's a good idea?
I don't know.
Would you pay?
Hey, you know what? Hey, wait a minute. That, you know, not the brightest American or answer, but at least it was like, there was some awareness of her limitations, of understanding. It wasn't just, congrats, Canada, for joining North America and sounding silly. There was like, she was like, I don't know. And you know what? I like that answer. I like that more, much more, than just the opinions these Americans will blindly give on any subject, whether it's real or not. I like that there's an American who's like, I don't know. I can't comment. I don't understand. I like that.
Pay money to visit Canada's national igloo?
I don't plan on ever going up there.
No?
They found the most American American in history. This is Huckleberry Barbecue Truck. That's his name, Huckleberry Barbecue Truck. That is his name, the most American.
I never heard of a building made out of ice anyway.
You never heard of an igloo?
Well, yeah, but not a scalpel.
Well, it's Canada.
Sounds right.
As part of the new millennium, one of the things we're doing is going to get a new currency. We want to call it the Canadian dollar, but the U.S. Treasury says that they own the name dollar for their currency, just like in Britain it's called the pound, in America it's called the dollar.
I would be willing to bet there is a lot of Americans right now, even, that don't know about the Canadian dollar. I think a lot of Americans would be confused about what the Canadian currency is. So I expect whatever Rick is talking about here with the Canadian dollar to absolutely fool these Americans.
We want to call ours the dollar, but they don't want us to call it the dollar. They want us to call it the loonie. What do you think of that?
Okay, this is fun. Thank goodness I know a bit about Canadian currency. This is funny on multiple levels that I understand. I understand the joke. A loonie is like a name for a Canadian dollar or like a $1 coin. Um, so he's actually using sort of a Canadian currency term as the proposition for what Canadian dollars should be called. And to Americans, like loony means crazy. Like he's gone loony. Like it means you're insane or so. So it's just a very silly word to Americans. We never really hear it, and so I imagine the reaction from this American was like perfect to me.
What do you think of that? As part of the Millennium celebrations in Canada, the King of Canada will be doing a tour of the United States and be visiting Arkansas. His name is King Lucien Bonhomme.
King Lucien Bonhomme, welcome to Arkansas.
Man, I don't even know who this guy is. I hope he's nobody important. That's another thing. I bet a lot of Americans don't understand Canadian government, for that matter, or that there's no King of Canada. Man, it's amazing what he can get these Americans to fully go along with. Like, no question. It's amazing, honestly. But I think this is a good place to stop. That's quite a compilation of embarrassing moments from Americans. I can only handle so much of this. Although it is also funny. It's like a car crash. Like, you can't look away in a strange way. Not that you would laugh at a car crash. Maybe that's a bad analogy. But I feel secondhand uncomfortableness from the Americans just making fools of themselves. But it's also like kind of opens up my mind to maybe questioning exactly like what Americans are talking about, our opinions on stuff, and just questioning whether we should be giving our thoughts on everything, everyone's thoughts on everything, especially here in America with this video. This video has convinced me of that a bit. Bit of an existential American crisis going on for me, but that's fine. I enjoyed this for what it is. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on Rick Mercer talking to Americans. I do enjoy going back and watching this. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.